Our attention now turns to the war between Russia and Ukraine, where at least 30 people have been killed in what Ukraine says is Russia's biggest missile bombardment of the war so far. More than 160 people were injured as Russia hit Kyiv, Odessa, Kharkiv, and Lviv in the early hours of Friday morning. We have details in this report.
War crimes must be punished. Deported people must come back home.
According to the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia used nearly every type of weapon in its arsenal, with homes and maternity hospital hit. Ukraine's Air Force said it had never seen so many missiles launched at once. Kiev's air defenses have drastically improved in recent months, but on Friday they were overwhelmed. An Air Force spokesperson said Russia used hypersonic, cruise and ballistic missiles, including X-22 type, which are difficult to intercept. The Air Force said 114 of 158 missiles and drones were shot down. It's a level of devastation only caused by a direct missile strike. For months, mostly fallen debris caused the damage and loss of lives that Ukrainians constantly fear. A bigger threat has now returned. The northeastern city of Kharkiv is no stranger to missile strikes, but not the 20 it felt on Friday morning. Kharkiv mayor said 3 people were killed and 13 others were injured in a series of strikes on the city, which damaged a hospital and residential buildings. The governor of the Dnipro-Peskov region said that 6 people were killed and 28 were injured in what he called a tragic morning for the region. One Russian missile even briefly entered Polish airspace as it homed on its Ukrainian target. Poland, a member of the NATO military alliance, says that the object entered from the direction of Ukraine on Friday morning, entering about 40 kilometers before leaving after about 3 minutes. The incident comes at a time of high tensions between Russia and European nations located near Ukraine, which Russia invaded in February 2022. Polish officials say they are working to further verify their findings and rule out the possibility of a technical malfunction. The Russian news agency quoted Russia's charge d'affaires in the country, who was summoned by the Polish government, as stating that Poland had provided no proof of a border violation. In a social media post on Friday, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said the security alliance is monitoring the situation and communicating with Polish officials. Responding to the latest Russian bombardment, U.S. President Joe Biden described it as a stark reminder to the world that after nearly 2 years of a devastating war, Vladimir Putin's objective remains unchanged. He says he seeks to obliterate Ukraine and subjugate its people, and he must be stopped now. In the meantime, Russia says it has destroyed dozens of missiles and drones fired at its territory from Ukraine. Local officials reported 2 people, including a child, were killed in the attack. The Russian Defense Ministry said 13 missiles and 32 drones were shot down over several Russian regions.
And we move to the United States, where massive waves and coastal flooding are wreaking havoc for a 3rd day in many of California's coastal communities, where extreme conditions have forced water rescues, washed away cars, and injured a handful of enthralled onlookers. The unusually large surf, often towering over 20 feet, has prompted beach closures along the California coast and sent deluges of water into several beachside streets, homes and businesses. In a hard-hit Ventura County, waves have also surged over seawalls and carried parked cars down the street and into significant intersections, blocking first responders' paths. High water and dangerous rip currents have been besieging much of the west coast from Southern California to Oregon since Thursday, caused by a series of powerful storms that have been making their way ashore from the Pacific Ocean. Though hazards will lessen for Northern Californians on Saturday, coastal areas of Central and Southern California will keep being battered by extreme surf, which could reach about 25 feet in impacted areas. Some waves slamming into California's Bay Area may peak at 40 feet, about the size of a telephone pole, and others are expected to hit 20 to 33 feet.
Probably about 8 foot, maybe on some of the sets, 8, 6 to 8. There's one that I thought was about 10 foot. That's the one that caught me inside. I got sucked backwards, but yeah, I got tossed around like a rag doll. That's the worst knock around I've got this year, and so yeah, it really woke me up.
All of our utilities are underneath the club. With our last storm, we were able to get underneath there and fortify all those utilities, so we should be in good shape, and so far we are in good shape.